go.
Let y'all kind of check out what we're doing. He just started on this MIG welding process. And like I said in the topic, in the description, that MIG welding is used for fabrication. A lot of times you'll see MIG welding in the fabrication shops because you can make a lot of equipment, you can make a lot of parts, you can fabricate gates, doors, security doors, bars, make custom parts for cars. There's so much you can do with this MIG welding process. That's why I said MIG welding is used for fabrication. And a lot of people that dive into it like the fact that they can fabricate things and make things for trailers. Like I say, car parts, workout equipment, you name it, cooking, household stuff, stainless steel. You know, it's a lot of stuff you can do with the MIG welding process. But the way we teach it here, I like to teach them how to stick weld first and then how to flux core. And we say the MIG welding for last because it's so easy, and about time they learn to stick in the flux core, MIG welding is just a walk through the park. What did you say? Would you agree? MIG welding like a walk through the park after you learn stick and flux core.
Yeah.
You just walking the dog, then having a good time. Real easy. So it's good to learn this process because it really can open up the door for you making your own parts, coming up with you a product to sell, and you can make your own product. Man, there's so much you can do with this MIG welding process. It's just unreal. And the main thing to do is, like he's working on, he's doing some T-joints, some lap joints, some buck joints, some groove joint, all of that, because all of that got to do with the fabrication process. So I think it's wise that we will learn the full process. So once you learn it, make sure that you get all the ins and outs, how to go downhill. And now I will say this, MIG welding is mostly done downhill. Now you can go uphill, but on a rule of thumb, you go downhill with the MIG. It just makes a better weld. It's easier to do. Normally, if you're gonna go uphill, you'll use the flux core or stick welding process. Let's go dive into see what he got going on over here real quick. Doing some edges and fabrication, just making things. So just keep that in mind, man. MIG welding is the fabrication process, and most definitely is used in majority of all of the metal shops, sheet metal shops, ornamental shops, and a lot of steel companies also use the MIG welding process because you can do post MIG, which is a lot hotter and gives you a lot better penetration. But with the regular MIG process, normally you're gonna use this just to fill different parts with. Gates, like I say, fences, trash bins, awnings, carports. I mean, it's so much you can do with this MIG welding process. show you something. So, in the MIG welding process, you got flux core, you got pulse, you got spray transfer, you got drag short circuit, you got push short circuit, and then you got self-shielding flux core. All of this is done with the same process, just different wires, different tips, and it's actually a different technique when you're doing all of these different types of welds. But MIG welding is where it's at, family. This is actually a chart showing some good MIG welding, what you're doing wrong, what you're doing good. And I think having this type of information helps the student know what to look for, know what to strive for. They can always fall back here when it comes to setting their machines and getting that fine sound like they frying bacon. Our program is 16 weeks, family. And this is basically our criteria here. So we teach stick and flux core welding / MIG welding. And the goal is to show them how to use both of these processes sufficiently. But we do the hardest process first, and we save the easiest process for last. But coming back, going over this information, it helps the student know what to look for, when the weld looks correct, when the weld isn't, their angles. Just give them some fundamental principles and knowledge before they dive into it. And I like to be hands-on. You know how your grandfather or your father, when you was little, you put you in their lap and they say, hey, sit you in my lap, you're going to drive today. And you got your hands on the steering wheel, even though he's driving and hitting the gas and the brakes. When you're little, you thinking like, oh man, I'm driving. But it actually prepares you to drive. So that's the same thing that I do. That's the same approach that I use. I like to be hands-on. So that way you can build the students' confidence and they really feel like they're going, and then you just let them go and let them start driving on their own. Kind of like taking the training wheels off a bike. So if you don't do nothing else this year, family, learn how to MIG weld. Just the MIG welding process alone can help change your life and put you in a better position. Hold on, family.